Grafting is such a useful gardening technique that allows plants to grow successfully, even if they're not always suited to the environment you're living in, like here in Tassie. The plant might not like the soil type, amount of moisture, or be prone to disease. So by matching them with a closely related plant that does thrive in those conditions, then you can actually end up growing things that you might not have thought possible. I'm going to show you a unique grafting idea for tomatoes, growing them onto the native kangaroo apple for improved growth in poor soils. This has worked really well for me in previous years when I've got bumper crops of big tomatoes. The kangaroo apple, Solanum laciniatum, is a large shrub that averages around 3 by 3 metres and is native to southeastern parts of Australia. The name comes from the leaf shape that looks a bit like a kangaroo paw, and they have edible fruit, but only when dropped and fully ripe. They're fast-growing, tough plants that in the wild fill the niche of a pioneer plant. They take up space after disturbance like fire, stabilising soil, adding shade, food and habitat to give the ecosystem a quick boost, whilst slower growing species get going. They can handle dry periods, hot sun, marginal soils, hard pruning and even cold winters. Tomatoes are in the same family as the kangaroo apple, Solanaceae, and genus Solanum. This means they're really closely related, so you can graft them together. Tomatoes can be tough plants, even a bit weedy, popping up in compost and veggie beds uninvited. But when you have a short summer and drought, combined with unfavourable soil conditions, they can take a lot of work to get a good crop. Grafting tomatoes onto the kangaroo apple base means that you need no compost and much less water because the kangaroo apple is really efficient in these conditions. Importantly, you only use short determinate tomato varieties for this trick, otherwise the long indeterminate varieties need lots and lots of staking and potentially could snap. While these are great shrubs, they take over our narrow terraces as their sprawling branches crowd out pathways and surrounding plants. So, they have to go. The best time for grafting these plants in Tasmania is late spring, after the risk of frost has passed. In other parts of Australia, which are warmer, you can try it a bit earlier when it's not too wet. Start by chopping back the branches of an established kangaroo apple plant to a single stump. Take a look at the cut section. You should see a green layer between the bark and the core, which is the cambium. This is where the new cells grow to merge the two plants together. Using a really sharp grafting knife, cut a little slit in the side of the trunk and then gently pry back the outer bark layers. Take a healthy tomato seedling and remove the older leaves. Really, Ollie? Leave just a tiny leaf on top so it can photosynthesize. For longer seedlings, you can cut them in half to around 10 centimetres, so you'll get 2 grafts from one plant. Slice the end on an angle that can easily slip into the gap in the kangaroo apple bark. Make sure the slice section of the tomato is pressed cleanly up against the kangaroo apple cambium. Repeat, because there's more chance of actually getting a good yield if you have more grafts, as sometimes not all of them will take. Get some grafting tape and wrap the whole thing up. This will keep the grafts in place, prevent evaporation and also limit the amount of moisture getting in. Coat with special grafting paint to seal off the fresh cut and tips of the grafts. If you're in a hot climate, use white reflective paint and tape. Whilst the kangaroo apple is a perennial, the tomatoes will die back every winter, so a new graft will need to be done each year. Over the next month, you'll see which grafts have or haven't worked. Remove the failed ones and concentrate on the ones growing fresh leaves. And then within a few months, you'll be eating beautiful tomatoes from this stump. Would you believe it?